Firefly Drone Training and Services with a quick demonstration of a drone deploy project. What is drone deploy? Well, drone deploy is a software that you can use with a drone to create 3D models and orthomosaic images. And this is useful for anyone that might have a project in construction or surveying or even agriculture. In the example here, I have a client who is installing solar, and they also had to redo a portion of their roof around the solar area. So they wanted me to capture the entire process, and that's exactly what I did. So just to give you an idea of the house, this is what it looks like with the solar already completed. And I shot this over 2 days. So before the solar and then again after the solar. So I created a flight path and then I executed that same flight path again at a later date. So you can see here, this is what it looked like before, and then the previous image is what it looks like afterwards. So up here on the taskbar, there are 4 steps to any drone deploy project. So the first thing is the fly. The fly is where you zoom in to your site and you draw a area of interest around what you want to capture. Make sure that you leave enough buffer room around. So even though the house itself is only right here, I left enough room here just to allow you room for later. You can specify the flight altitude. The closer you are, the lower, the higher resolution. In this case, it's 0.4 inches per pixel. It is also going to take longer though. So you see here, it's almost an 8-minute flight. If I go to 100 feet, it's going to be a 3-minute flight. So I'm going to drop it down to 50 again. Low altitude, you do have to be aware of any obstacles around, in particular trees. So from there, you would log into on your phone and you would do your flight, all autonomous. Then you would come back and you would drop your images into here. And it's going to recognize just based off the metadata where the GPS location of the images are, and then you're going to start the upload. Now, depending on how many images you have, about 124, and your internet speed, this is going to take about 15 minutes. I'm going to cancel this because I've already done it. After it's uploaded the images, Drone Deploy on their servers will be processing those into your model, and that's going to take about 2 hours for something like this. It will take more if you have more images. You will get an email when this is done, and from there you can take a look at your site. It's going to already compile the images together, and just to show you here, each of these dots was an image from the drone. So that's not just one big image, it's actually tiled together. And I could zoom in and take a close look at each and one of these things. So from there, if you want to make any notes, you can do so right here. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go here, say it's called an issue button, but really not necessarily have to be an issue. In this case, I'm just going to keep it an observation, but you can use this to note other issues. So I'm just going to say conduit through the roof. Severity is 1. All right, and then I can also do measurements. So let me do an area measurement, and I'm just going to measure the area of the panels. So I'm just dropping points right on the outside and closing it. And you can always click to add more or click that same one to remove. In this case, I'm going to call this south panels, and I'm going to change the color to dark purple. It seems like here we have the area, which is what I drawn out, 210, and the surface area is 240. Difference is because this is a roof, there is an angle, the actual surface area is going to be greater. It's just from this top down view, all it sees is 210, but really in reality, it knows the elevation, so it's 240. So just to point out why there's those two area measurements. Let me do it again here on the north facing roof. So I'm just going to click around the perimeter. They had to position the panels in this way just to work around the existing pipe vents. Okay, surface area is 282. So I'll say north panels, and again give it a dark purple. All right, so you can see it's clumped into two different fields. We have annotations, and then we had issues. Now, if we go into our report, I can go to annotation report, and I can see, look at this. North panels is surface area is 282 square feet. South panels is 240 square feet. I can even check for a different day. So on the first day, I didn't have panels, but instead I made a bunch of annotations on loose tiles, pipe vents, the exhaust for the gas, the area of the roof, and the volume of the entire roof. So that's annotation report. Photo report, if you took individual photos separate from the ones that were taken from the drone deploy mission, you can place them right here. So you can see I put some captions already, but I can add some more here. I can say loose tiles need to be addressed. And that's a photo report. So only going to show up if you took extra photos separate from the drone deploy mission. Stockpile report, I don't have any because I didn't do any volume measurements. Typically this is for agriculture, if you have grain piles, or if you are a mining company trying to calculate how much material has been processed. Issue report, I do have one issue, and in this case they call it an issue report, but to me it's just an observation. So you can see here I put a box around the conduit through the roof. So there's our issue report. All of these report you can export, save as a PDF in a nice format for your clients to look at, and then share it with them that way. Additionally, you can also export all this information in a variety of different formats. So if you want the inherent tiled image that you see here, you can do PDF, GeoTIFF, or JPEGs, all for the same image, just in different formats. If you want 3D models, now you can go to Point Cloud as well as 3D models. And if you want any elevation and terrain data, you can export them likewise. Plant health, real quick, in this case is not our concern, but I just want to show you. You can check mark this and it will show you the plant health, basically looking at color as well as contrast. So you can see anything that's darker is going to be healthier. Not necessarily the case, right? This is just a shadow, but it makes more sense if you are out in the field where there's not shadowing going on. And then finally, you can turn on elevation to see in colors the different heights. Because I've taken this over several days, I can do a comparison. So I'm going to do the original roof here on the left side and the new roof with the solar on the right side. So you see the annotation of the area is still shown. I'm going to turn that off. But that just highlights that the house has shifted a little, Well, it really hasn't. Rather, it just didn't line up from flight to flight. And that's because I didn't use something called ground point controls. That's GPC. These are these checkerboard patterns that you want to put on the ground that allows you to align maps. So if you are to fly the same area again, these will line up perfectly. So I didn't do that this time, and that's why they don't line up. But it's pretty cool. You can slide and you can see before and after. Zoom in, right? So that is if you fly the same area um, at different times. So this is a quick overview of drone deploy. Hope you found this helpful. My name is Han. I'm from SensoFly. We are a professional drone services company providing lessons, photography, and consulting. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at sensofly.com. We're located here in Southern California and assisting people globally and nationally. Thank you very much.